Okay, hi again. This is page 7 in part 4. At this point, I think just for a little catch up, this is the point where um, Jackson's kind of slowly realizing that he's getting smaller, and now once he's hit that conclusion, now all of a sudden we're catching him at the dinner table, openly accusing everybody. This is sort of where he starts going off on the same theory that like David and Alex and everybody else has been going on when he was getting bigger, that somebody has a size changer and is using it to play a joke. And of course, it's a common theme. No matter how many times David and Liz assure themselves that the size changer went in the trash, never to be seen or heard from again, it's a theory that won't go away. Of course, we, the audience, know that, and so does Aiden over here, know that Allison actually has it and is the one, really is playing the joke. But so far, everybody else is still is still, is still in denial of it. So it's sort of through this sequence is where see, this sweet sequence is where they're still trying to explain his changing size logically. So, in the previous page ended where he actually made the initial accusation. So now I'm coming in and fine tuning it there. That looks better. Let's see. Let's bring the head up just a little bit. And I want to give myself room for the word bubble at the bottom without hiding his accusing pointed finger. So I think that's good. We'll change this to number 23 and render that. And this one's actually unusual. This story so far has been a little unusual in that it's. Where are we? There we go. In that here we are on the 13th distinct day within the story, even though more days than that have passed. I'm looking at you, Dad. Let's see, I'm looking at you, Dad, since you are the one that likes to play these kinds of games. I'm pretty sure you're making me smaller to teach me some kind of lesson or something. It is. It's his age, the accusation. kind of only half makes sense. But anyway, going back for a moment, this is kind of unusual in that it's spanning a number of days, where a lot of these stories, usually only take place in across like a couple of days. This universe more than the muscle growth. Did I copy that? Edit, paste it as new layer. Yep, okay. I did hit Control C on that. Let's see. I know the muscle growth universe stories tend to cover larger chunks of time, and where this one, it's unusual for a story to take place longer than a couple of days. Like the first one was a 2-month story, but you had, I think it was, Jackson's Folly was basically a weekend. I think Claymore Jane um, didn't have a lot of different days in it, even though it might have taken place over a longer time period. Um, the babysitter was basically just a weekend, and so on and so on. I think it's it feels like to me it becomes unusual with this universe in this series to do these long range stories, even though for me it's kind of like the slow growth or the slow shrink is a lot more fun than than the sudden, almost instantaneous that I tend to do with this family. Da, layer, scale layer 34, scale it, and we'll just put you where you're supposed to be. I'm looking at you, Dad. And we'll move it over, because the next shot is just going to be a facial, excuse me, reaction shot. Cut, select none, and let's just make sure, okay. Oops. And then let's start our border layer to image size. Cut. Edit, paste as. And it's again, this seems to be another part that I just keep not making progress on. And just keep stalling and not making progress on. And it's, oh shoot, edit, undo. See, now I'm trying to I'm trying to put a thought together here for you guys, and I'm not even, well, I'm trying to half pay attention. Okay, okay, there. By some miracle, we managed to do that. But it's like, I think it's like this week. It's been sort of holiday prep, and sort of trying to put together a gift idea for my brother. And like, it just can't be an idea where you go out and buy something, wrap it, and that's it. No, it has to be. It has to be a project that you put together, and like, oh my god. So we took a couple of, I think it was earlier this year, we took a couple of days, and he came to visit, and we spent a couple of days on a mini road trip to Florida. And I think I posted the pictures for you guys somewhere. where we went to like the Everglades and a couple other parks and just got to take pictures of the alligators and the birds and all the weird Floridian wildlife. So I took a couple of the pictures and printed them out and wanted to frame them. And it's like, you kind of get an idea for what you want to do as far as like framing them up. And then you go looking and you really don't want to spend a fortune on the frames, when the gift is kind of the picture more so. So you end up spending way too much time looking around for semi cheap frames that don't look cheap. It's you want quality, but you don't want to pay for it. That sort of thing. Uh, let's see. So that's what I've been doing. I think while trying to work on this. Mm, let's see. Actually, I'm not sure. Oh, actually, I know what I want to do now. Okay, this one. You, Dad, since you're the one that likes to play these kind of games, I'm pretty sure you're making me smaller to teach me some kind of lesson or something. Let's see. But I'm not entirely convinced Alex isn't behind to get my room back. He's gonna call it his room instead of Alex's room. And let's see. Okay, that'll look good. We'll just trace down, edit, cut that, select none, and then paste. Da-da-da. When I have to admit, like, I don't really practice religion, and I'm not really sort of there's not really a lot of family that I'm close to. Don't really, I don't really like. I don't know what you want to say. Celebrate maybe is probably the best word, but I'm not really big on doing things for Christmas. I sort of like the low key, just sit back and relax kind of approach to it. That too, and I'm kind of horrible with coming up with presents, so but okay, layer scale. But still, I try and think of my brother, and it's typically, I don't get it out, I don't get it shipped out and to arrive until after Christmas. And it's like I keep telling him, like, I think the kind of gifts that, that I always sort of like the most are like the silly, stupid, fun things rather than, like sort of the big ticket or whatever. It's just something that, sits on a shelf, and every time I see it, it makes me think of him, because, that sort of thing, like, um, yeah. Let's see. We'll have her explain. Actually, no. We'll save her for the next panel. Let's have these two giving each other like sneaky looks, or guilty looks, or whatever you want to. And I think she's got. Let's see. Oh, not his head. I'm looking for her head. What else can we? Zoom out a little. There we go. I think we're going to have this one be a silent panel. I guess that attitude kind of came from maybe my own childhood, where it was like just, where we didn't, we really weren't that well off, and, our parents probably spent more on gifts than they should have. And at the same time, it was when it was always, as far as I was concerned, I guess, it always had this feeling that, Christmases and birthdays were always something they had to do, not something that they did out of love or anything like that. And I guess I kind of look back at it and just kind of really say, and just really like think to myself, like, we didn't really, as kids, even as kids, we didn't really need to we really didn't need all the toys and stuff that they would get us. I mean, at that age, if we had gotten half the toys that we did for Christmas or birthdays or whatever, we'd have never noticed. But I think what really would have mattered is is if maybe there was a kind word or something instead, or maybe it's like, hey, now that hey, you got a new sled for Christmas, let's go out. Why don't I take you out and play with you? That sort of thing. I think that's what kind of would have meant a lot more. It's something from the heart rather than from the wallet. And I guess that's why, like, I'm always just so bad with presents because I just, I want something more from the heart rather than something that shows like, hey, I bought you something because it's a holiday and I'm supposed to. And I guess that's why I sort of like certain, I sort of like certain presents that I get nowadays more than others, because like really it shouldn't be about the money. It really should be a time about family and being with one another and sharing yourself. I always thought that would have been the greatest gift, instead of like some toy that you're going to grow out of. I'd really really would be curious as to what everybody else thinks. Like, what is it about the holidays that like you sort of appreciate the most? We talk about Thanksgiving be a time for being thankful, but really like it's like Christmas is another one of those times where family is supposed to be important. You know, we really should be. We it's like a time where we give and get. Are we? It's like another time we should be thankful for that generosity too, I guess. I don't know. I'm just going on at this point because I'm just in a weird state of mind all of a sudden. But but I mean, like I said, what do you guys think? Like, what is, do you celebrate Christmas? What is it to you? Or if it's not, is the holidays, is it an excuse to get together, even if it's for the holidays and not specifically Christmas? I'm not entirely convinced Alex isn't behind it to get my room back. Oh, Jackson. I've gone over this many times with your dad and with your brother. Oops. Ah! I can't type all of a sudden. I'm gonna lose. Many times with your dad and your brother, and there's just no way that size changer is involved. Your dad threw it away, and the garbage man took it away. It's gone. Oops, here we go. It's gone. Forget about it. Wow. And that little speech went on a little bit longer than I thought, so let's see. Let's bring the picture in and see how we need to stretch the word bubble. Oops, wrong thing. Oops, get everything out of order here. Oh, cut. Select none. Okay. Layer to image size. Let's get our border before we go messing with the cut. Edit. Paste as new layer. Select shrink. Okay. Select invert. Select no edit cut. Okay. My mind is still wandering here, so invert, edit, cut, select none. There we go. Okay, so. Okay, now let's see what we have to do to make this fit nicely. Let's see if I can get this down by one row. There we go. That doesn't look as clean as it did before. So we'll just live with this. Whoops. Okay, so I'll live with that. There we go. Edit, merge down. And let's trim a little bit off the bottom. Cut that, select none, edit, paste, new layer. Okay, that looks good. Merge down. And then we'll just kind of want it to overlap a little bit. Let's see. Oops, let's see. All I need is the hand off screen. I don't need it to look pretty. And since he's probably going to be in this shot, let's give him a reaction. Da, 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 da. It needs to be a little slighter than that. There we go. Am I using anything? Oh, he's got the frown is on. That's why. Okay. Have him looking down. Even though I kind of cheat the eating scenes here a little bit, make it look like he's going for some food. Uh, let's see. Edit. Paste as layer. Did he really? I wouldn't put it past him to pretend he threw it away. Okay. Oops, there we go. Oh, okay, and this is gonna have to be cleaned up a little. Let's see. Okay, that's better. Then we'll bring this back in a little. Okay. And speaking of presents for the holidays, I know last year I put out a little Christmas card. I think actually I wasn't on Patreon last year, so I think the card went out on Twitter. So I think this year I'm trying to think of some. I'm thinking of something. I don't want to say I'm trying because I have in mind what I'm thinking of doing, but I'm thinking of doing something a little bigger for all you guys who have been so supportive this year. And I'm not going to spoil it other than to say stay tuned. part of the idea too. Is like, will I actually be able to pull it off? I always love those things when I try to plan something and then I go to execute it and it fails. New layer, select, shrink one, invert. Ah, shoot. Okay. Why do I keep doing that this time around? I keep forgetting to invert it first. Yeah, cut. There we go. Really? Because I wouldn't put it past him to pretend he threw it away so that he could shrink me slowly for some joke. And now here we're going to get an obligatory explanation to how the thing works. Because if you've been reading the series from the beginning, then you already know how it works. The idea is where these are sort of standalone stories. There's a lot of people who are picking up in the middle of the series and may not uh, get the explanations from the first story or previous stories or whatever. So here's the sort of like catch up for all those who are jumping in now. Plus, this will serve as sort of a excuse me, to sort of like hang a lantern on the fact that something about the process in this story doesn't gel with established canon. Even if someone did have the device and was playing with you, the thing doesn't work this way. Once you use it to change someone's size, undoing that change is almost instantaneous. Oops. Open as layers. Let's put the picture in. So as I'm typing that up, and I'm realizing that little speech is longer than I initially thought it was going to be, the question is, actually, I could actually split her speech and have the second half of it sort of lead us or start off the next page. So, but now I'm curious. I've got all this space. Let's see if how much I can. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna actually. Oops. Control Z will fix that. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna get this any cleaner. Let's see. Even if, even if someone even if someone, yeah, you know what, let's clean this up a little bit. Even if someone had the device and was playing with you, the thing doesn't work this way. Once you use it to change someone's size, undoing that change is almost instantaneous. they couldn't use it to grow you slowly and then turn you, size just as slowly. And then return you to regular size just as slowly. Okay, I think that will work. So let's take our word bubble and readjust it. Layer transform this way. Line it up. There we go. Control C, edit, paste as new layer. Select. And this was sort of one of those story decisions where I'm not sure why. I'm not exactly sure on a personal level why I'm holding off, sort of revealing exactly what Allison is doing and why it's sort of the big mystery. But it was something I decided, so I'm going with it. I think somewhere in the back of my mind, it's kind of an analogy to keeping you guys, the reader, guessing is sort of the analogy is paralleled by the fact that the characters have no idea what's going on. Oh shoot! Okay, we took too much off there, and then there we go. Did I go too far over? There we go. There it is. So I think in not not just giving you Allison's plan from the beginning and watching it unfold, I think this sort of puts the reader on. I think the idea is that this puts the reader on the same journey that the characters are going through, and that you're trying to figure out exactly how she's doing, exactly what she's doing. At the same time, the characters are trying to figure out what's going on, even though, like, there's really no other, um, there's really no reason to be keeping it from the reader. It just is. Whoops, I forgot to cut. No, not copy, edit, cut. Okay, and merge down. Let's save this file. Save as, because we haven't saved it. We'll take the 6 and change it to a 7 and go yes. And then now that it's saved, let's image flatten and then export it to JPEG. Hit enter and then export. And let's go find my page. Looking at you, Dad, since you're the one that likes to play these kinds of games, I'm pretty sure you're making me smaller to teach me some kind of lesson or something. I'm not entirely convinced Alex is behind it to get my room back. Jackson, I've gone over this many times with your dad and with your brother, and there's just no way that size changer is involved. Your dad threw it away, and the garbage man took it away. It's gone. Forget about it. Did he really? Because I wouldn't put it past him to pretend he threw it away so that he could shrink me slowly for some joke. Even if someone had the device and was playing with you, the thing doesn't work this way. Once you use it to change someone's size, undoing that change is almost instantaneous. They couldn't use it to grow you slowly and then return you to regular size just as slowly. And there's page 7. And the conversation will continue on the next page. Let's see which. We sort of open a new guide and close the old one. So I hope this one was every bit as entertaining as the rest of the videos were. And I still want to thank you guys if you're still watching and still following along. If you're finding these interesting, I really do appreciate it, and thank you.